And a good Sunday evening to you, Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff in the Weather Lab. You know what? I noticed that we got the Packer game on in the background, and you know how the NFL could be if we have that broadcasting without explicit permission from the NFL. So we're going to turn the camera a little bit. We'll take a look at the Weather Lab. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I am doing a Facebook Live. Partly because I've got to talk about Melissa. Melissa is absolutely going to be a country-changing type storm, as Melissa is expected to be a major Category 5 hurricane. It's already a Category 4. It's nearly a Category 5. You might remember the way Maria and Irma hit back in 2017. Maria devastated Puerto Rico. We got some major problems. And I guess we're getting some congrats here. Thanks for the congrats, by the way. Appreciate it. I see some of the congratulations on the Emmy. I just happen to have the trophy right here from because I literally drove in from St. Charles not too long ago. Josh is off tomorrow and Tuesday. Blaze will be working. He was working the 5 o'clock earlier today, but there it is, best weathercast. And as amazing, as awesome as this trophy is, my heart breaks for those that are in Jamaica. I don't know if you've ever been to Jamaica, but they have this saying called Irie. And Irie is basically everything's good, no problems, everything's positive. Oh, man, this doesn't look good, folks. Let's talk about it, and then we'll get into our forecast. And if you have any comments, let me know. So let's start off, first of all, with this is what the satellite looks like, and this is just an absolute buzzsaw. Unfortunately, that's going to be a major issue. So this is a look at infrared satellite showing this storm system that continues to churn just off the coast of Jamaica. And as nasty as it looks, you'll notice that we definitely have some. Something's going on here with the camera. So, anyways, we'll leave it at that. But there's a look at that storm that's continuing to churn and moving westward very slowly. It became a Category 4. You can see what we call the central dense overcast. That central dense overcast is essentially the CDO, as it's called. And this is going to be some issues. Let me change this here real quick. There we go. We got weather 2 on there. But there's a look at major Hurricane Melissa. We're going to take a look at a couple of things here, first of all. And this just looks absolutely catastrophic. Number one, it's slow moving. Number two, it's becoming a Category 5. Did you know Jamaica, according to historical tracks, has never been hit directly by a Category 5 hurricane? And when we look at the potential past, there are some models that are out to lunch or out to dinner or out to a late dinner. It shows it being up here. That's probably a model that I got to remove from the potential paths. But you'll see this system is curving to the northeast overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning into the afternoon, it's expected to be a Category 5. And that's the first time that a Category 5 has ever hit the country of Jamaica. So we're talking some significant, historic, potentially country-changing effects to what Melissa could bring to Jamaica. It's pretty much a worst-case scenario. Now, the only thing that would make it even worse is if it goes a little bit more east on the landfall, like as it hits Kingston, Jamaica, which is a bigger population on the east side of Jamaica. Nevertheless, there still will be storm surge. There still will be a tremendous amount of rain and flooding. Josh said, they switched drivers on the way home. So Josh is literally driving right now back from Indianapolis. He went to the Colts game tonight. Dude is like energy galore. In fact, we were just having some fun at the Ameristar Resort for the Emmys just a few hours ago, Josh. And now he went to the Colts game and he's driving back. But Willow, this is the best way to put it. Praying for Jamaica. We've got to pray for Jamaica. Because let me show you this. I'm going to bring this up full so you can see it. We're going to make a full screen. Here's a look at the current indication. So this is just released. We just got the new Hurricane Melissa update. And this is a major Category 4 hurricane, 145 miles per hour winds. gusts up to 175 miles per hour. The Colts did win. In fact, the Colts annihilated the Titans. And Josh said many of the touchdown celebrations were right in front of him. So he was having a grand old time. But look at the pressure. Now, Jamaica, if you've ever been there, they say no pressure, no problem. But this is unfortunately a major problem and a big time issue. So some bad stuff going on with that hurricane. But take a look at this again. There's the storm system. There's what we call the central dense overcast that shows the explosive thunderstorm development. We'll take a look here again at the tropical infrared. And there's not many high resolution computer models that have a domain in Jamaica, but we'll take a look at some of the rainfall totals that are expected. And here you go. Look at that. There's the system churning, slowly drifting westward at 5 miles per hour. Again, we'll look at the latest update and see what we've got as we take a look at this. There's the potential path. So drifting west at 5 miles per hour. Okay, so here's the very latest track. It starts slowly drifting west and curves to the northwest overnight tonight, and then expected to be 155 by tomorrow morning. So it does strengthen and then becomes a Category 5 by tomorrow afternoon, I'm saying. Let's see. There it is. Category 5 by tomorrow afternoon, evening, and then expected to make, look at that, Category 5 landfall late tomorrow night and into early morning Tuesday. That is just absolutely devastating. Now, if you've ever been to Jamaica obviously has some mountainous terrain, and that's going to create a lot of landslide potential. So we're looking at some serious impacts there. Then, and this is also something I want to show you too. There it is crossing over Jamaica, continues to move northeast, this time a little quicker, but now south tip of Cuba gets it by Tuesday night. Then it goes through the Caribbean and the Bahamas. And then look at this. It's making a beeline for Bermuda. Now, at this point, it looks like it might be a little bit south of Bermuda, but look at the cone of uncertainty. So, I mean, they do have hurricane preparations, but unfortunately, when you're talking, we're talking like 20, 30 to 40 inches of rain, a tremendous amount of rainfall, which will definitely be a serious issue across the area. Is it going to follow me? Yeah, it is. All right, so let's do this. Make sure this doesn't follow me all the way over. So we're waiting for the 10 o'clock news after Sunday Night Football, and that's why we're doing this Facebook Live. And Regina just said it best. Pray for Jamaica. Kingston is in the floodplain too. I know. I mean, there's everywhere is in the floodplain. We'll take a look at some stuff. Here's what I want to show you. We're going to show this. Stand by here. Bring this up. This is the National Hurricane Tracks. And I thought this was pretty interesting because you're going to see that this is all the Category 5 hurricanes on record for Jamaica. And you'll notice there's not a single one that made a landfall as a Category 5. Now, we can close this out, and you can see, Jamaica has been impacted by quite a few hurricanes. If we go back here and let's do Category 4 and 5, and we'll remove all these. So here is all the Category 4 and 5. And in fact, the other landfall that was a major hurricane is right here, Gilbert, back in 1988. And so made a Category 3 landfall. So it wasn't even Category 4, but it was Category 4 right before moving into Kingston, and that was obviously very devastating. Minimum pressure for that was 960. And it went way down that before. So here it is becoming a Category 5 as it made a tip through, it looks like, northern Mexico, very close to Cancun. Wow, Gilbert was really bad for Cancun and those areas. But let's go back here again. Make sure that I'm on this. I think I am. Yep. Okay, we're good there. So you can see all that. We'll bring this up full. Tell you what, I'm going to put my picture down on the bottom left. So this is all the stuff for the historical hurricane tracks. Now, the Weather Service and coast.noaa.gov has this website. It really is cool because it's really easy to look at past historical hurricanes. And again, if we close this out and we go back to just Category 5 and remove all the other ones, you will notice that obviously the Jamaica area, as I have it highlighted on there, hasn't been impacted by a Category 5. Ivan, remember how bad Ivan was in 2004? That made a run for Florida. This is not. This is going to curve to the north and the northeast, and we'll take a look at some other stuff on Melissa and what makes Melissa so devastating. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to remove this stream. We're going to go back to full screen. So did they even have Cat back in the 80s? Oh, yeah, they did. We're talking the records for the historical hurricane tracks, by the way, just to let you know, they go back all the way to, if we look, 1852. They go back to the 1800s. So the hurricane tracks are obviously, they've had it back in the 80s. They had categories. Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate it. In case you're just joining the stream, I do have the trophy right here, which is, it's legit. I mean, this is the Emmy trophy that you see on national, the daytime, the primetime Emmys. It's the same exact thing. And there you can see the Mid-American Emmy Regional Emmy Award for Best Weathercast. Humbled, honored, very proud of all my coworkers too. We had so many nominations. It was really, really awesome. But again, I'm not on here to show you that. I'm here to talk about Melissa, which is going to be absolutely devastating. So let's take a look at some other stuff here. Let's go to the water vapor to show you why it's going to start curving to the northeast and why it's been so devastating. First of all, you'll notice there's not really any dry air as this storm has just produced a ton of latent heat release. You'll also notice, too, that this ridge is about to break down. So as it does, you can see this upper level trough that's swinging in, which, by the way, is the one that came through today. Once that starts moving eastward, that is exactly why, as it rides around a ridge and it gets picked up by this trough, this is why it's going to pick up speed too, forward speed. So let me show you what I'm looking at. So here's the upper level trough. You can see the giant cutoff low. So you knew it was going to be slow. That's moving eastward. Then this drifts slowly to the west, starts curving to the north as it rides around a ridge on the western side, and then it picks up forward speed as it races off to the northeast. We showed you that track before, but if you're just joining it, let me show this again. I've got to adjust the timing on this. So there's a look at that. That's starting to curve northeast, northwest, and then it curves to the northeast. And if we zoom in here, I'm going to pause it, and we're going to zoom way in. Let's see which areas are going to be impacted here. So we're going to zoom way in. Oh, come on. What are you doing? That was weird. There's your 7-day. By the way, I'm adjusting those rain chances. They need to go way up. I just got in not too long ago. We got to make some adjustments to the forecast. I appreciate Blaze doing the 5 o'clock news tonight for me so I could get back from whatchamacallit. Is Max the cam working on that one? See, the cam's working on this one. Let me try something real quick. Stand by. I'm going to see if I can fix this in real time. We're having a problem with the camera. I don't know what the deal is. We're going to remove. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Camera's back. Okay. We're back in action. Sorry, I had to fix that. I don't know what was going on there. Something happened. Hate when stuff doesn't work and you're live because you can't troubleshoot it. Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? You got a great point there, Fast Sunset 61. He was like, check this out. I'm gonna zoom in on this, and you're gonna get to see this track overall. And this is gonna be something really interesting to show. So there it is moving westward. There's just absolutely no steering current. So it starts going to the west and then it stops, then it backs up and goes to the east, then it starts curving around, then it does a little loop-de-doo, then it comes up here, then it goes up, then it goes back, drifts to the west, then it goes up here. It almost looks like a race car, a go-kart track. Then it goes up here, spins around, comes back around, goes over here, comes around. This is going to be really interesting to show with the loop. Oh, look at this, Spencer. You got someone on YouTube that says lives in Indiana, and the Colts are on fire this year. They are for sure. They are good for the shoe, as Josh says. Now look at this. My goodness. Oh, look at that. And then it finally starts drifting westward. Now it's west. Now it's going southwest. And here's the thing, any type of wobbles. So wobbles are essentially when these storms can maybe shift directions a little bit, which can be an issue. So you can get some what we call wobbling, where not like what you saw earlier where there was no steering currents. But now we're going to put this into motion. You're going to see it moving westward, category 5 by tomorrow afternoon, and then starts curving to the northeast. Now, this is what I wanted to do. I want to pause it right there. Now we're going to zoom in and we're going to be able to see where this is going to be impacting. Black River, Bull Savannah. Now you'll see here on the east side of the island is where you've got Kingston. Kingston is a major town. That's where a lot of the cruises go. I've been to both Montego Bay and Kingston, and Jamaica is beautiful, but look at how mountainous it is. So now, on top of that, you're looking at a tremendous amount of rain. So that's why we're going to have some some mudslides and some landslides. I mean, and it's pretty much a certainty that it makes a landfall. Whether it's a category 5 remains to be seen. Look at how it races off to the northeast and starts picking up forward speed because it gets carried away by that trough of low pressure. I don't know what comment this is, but someone says they haven't played any more good is why. Maybe they're saying they haven't played anyone good. I see. Well, the Titans aren't good, that's for sure. Packers, look at that. Up 32-19. Let's go. Blink and you miss it. You know, the bucket, I haven't seen much from the bucket. You know, it's kind of fallen off a little bit by the wayside there, Brian. Otherwise, it would get honorable mention, but I think the bucket's been destroyed and has been discarded. So maybe we can bring it back for this upcoming winter. See if we can get an ice bucket. Who knows what type of winter we're going to have. But I think I'm going to be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've got to go to a motivational speaking conference called Increase. And it's my mom's husband. It's his seminar called Increase. He's Dr. Increase, and that's going to be out west. And so I'm going to be gone Wednesday through Friday. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I think we're going to be cutting open the persimmon seeds this Tuesday. Great question on this. When does hurricane season usually end? The hurricane season ends at the end of November. So November 30th is the end of hurricane season, but you can get tropical systems beyond that. When was the last time we've seen a landfalling Cat 5? That's a great question. It's one I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure there's some hurricane peeps that could let you know that. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to wipe out all this. We're going to refresh this, and I'm going to bring this back up. Why is it doing that? I'm not clicking on anything. Stop. Get out of there. Hold on just a second. Oh. All right, everything. We're going to go to category. Just a category 5 overall. And then we're just going to say everywhere. Done. All right. Landfalling category 5. Well, I want to say I'm pretty sure Michael was a category 5 as it made landfall. You also had Dorian that was a category 5. I remember Dorian was in there too. Now this gets a little bit tricky. If we go to newest, okay, there's Milton, Otis. Oh, Otis was a category 5, made landfall as a category 5 near Acapulco. So yeah, hold on. I'm going to bring this up here. Great question. That's a tough one to answer, but we do have some resources. So let's go back to this here. So if we go to newest, this is basically I drew a box around the United States and the Caribbean and the Gulf, and it keeps bouncing around. Stop this. So, anyways, here. Oh my goodness. You can't move the mouse. So Milton is right here. That was not a category 5. Otis was. Ian was basically, it looks like it became category 4 as it made landfall. We'll go back to this. Dorian, yep, I remember that. Michael. So I think the last United States landfalling category 5 was Michael back in 2018. There's Irma. That was really bad. Matthew. That was pretty bad too. Felix, 2007. Dean. Wilma. But remember, it can be a category 5, but it doesn't make landfall in the United States as a category 5. So to answer that question, that would be Michael back in 2018, unless I'm missing something. Because Ian was not a category 5 right here. It became category 4. It went through an eye wall replacement cycle just before it made landfall. Okay, guys. Now, yep, Michael, there it is. So I don't even need AI. And by the way, sometimes AI is way wrong. I know it really is very bad for I was playing some Bob Marley just because I love Bob Marley's greatest hits. Such a great album. And he has that song, Three Little Birds, Don't Worry About a Thing. Every little thing's going to be all right. I hope they're playing that in Jamaica, but they really need to take this seriously and get to shelter, seek shelter immediately. Let's take a look at some of the rain totals that are expected because, you know, we don't have high resolution computer models for that area because the HRRR, it's not in the domain. And so I'm going to bring up maybe the European. We'll take a look at that because it's not something you generally look at. So stand by. I'm going to bring this up and take a look at the heavy rain that's expected in Jamaica. See if we can get it. So let's go to regions, oceanic. Let's go to the Atlantic. There we go. All right, that's not going to work. They don't have anything that's in on Jamaica. So let's try this. Let's look at this precipitation total. And yeah, that's just horrible. I'll bring it up here in a second, but first of all, I'm looking at it, trying to find it. Atlantic Basin, Eastern Tropical, that's not going to work. Gulf of Mexico, that's not going to work. You can kind of see it down there. Yeah, that's about as good as I can get. So let me bring that up real quick. It's tough to find. We're going to move this. We're going to go to share this tab instead. Okay. So now Here is a look at the rain totals expected. Scale is down at the bottom. So that's in millimeters. I don't want millimeters. I want, well, they're going to be in millimeters, but that gives you 386 millimeters. We're talking 404 millimeters. That's a tremendous amount of rainfall. We'll go back to oceanic, and then we'll go to the. So there you go. Now this is in inches right here. No, that's millimeters. Let's do inches to give you an idea. And so now you're looking at the total rainfall. See how slow moving that is? Look at that along the coast. We're talking purples, and that's 20 plus. And that's the top of the scale, by the way. Max is 26.03 inches. That is just awful. Puerto Rico doesn't get there. Lesser Antilles, Gulf of Mexico, Greater Antilles, that doesn't, there we go. We're a little more zoomed in now. So here's a look at, again, some really, really heavy rain. If we go to the maps and we look at the GFS, let's see what the GFS have. Oh my goodness. So once again, in millimeters, obviously, because it's all in metrics, but you get about 20 inches of rain plus. And then when we do this, when we look at the National Hurricane Center, and we go here and we look at the rainfall potential, this will show you what we've got here. So share this tab instead. Here's the 4-day rain forecast. Look, they have 20 to 30 inches, 500 to 750 millimeters. And then look at this, in eastern sections of Jamaica, where some of the highest terrain is, you've got possibly up to 40 inches of rain. 40 inches. That is insane, unbelievable amounts. Let's see what the public advisory says. Melissa is likely to cause life-threatening, catastrophic flash flooding, landslides, major winds, all sorts of stuff. 15 to 30 inches of rain. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along the south coast. 9 to 13 feet above ground level. Large destructive waves. That is just horrendous. If we look at the discussion here, very intense hurricane with a well-defined eye, the central dense overcast, significantly colder than 80 degrees, minus 80 degrees Celsius. Cloud pattern is quite symmetrical. Although the eye wobbled a little bit south recently, this is believed to be temporary. The track reasoning is essentially unchanged. The mid-level ridge that has been steering Melissa westward is expected to weaken, like we talked about. This should allow the hurricane to turn to the north and northeast. Then developing mid-level trough near southeastern U.S. is expected to cause Melissa to move northeastward with increasing forward speed. Exactly what we told you here. My goodness, look at that. Catastrophic in Haiti, extensive infrastructural damage. That's another thing, too. It's not just Jamaica. It's such a big system. It's going to cause so many issues. Significant storm surge through the southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. So maybe not hitting the United States, but wow, sure looks to be a problem for at least somewhere. It's a good question. There's many different graphics to use, but one of the ones you can use is let me bring this up here. Canva is always good to edit weather maps. You can do that. I know several people use Canva, Adobe. That's a good question. There are some sources that are out there and some great weather apps. Yeah, 20 to 30 inches plus, almost up to 40 inches of rain. Now, we talked a lot about Melissa, but what about our forecast? Well, let's get to it. We do have some rain chances that are likely, and that's going to be coming in on Tuesday. Here, by the way, is the upper level low. I know those islands are just going to be devastated. And I've been to Jamaica. It's just an amazing place. There's a look at that slow moving cutoff low. It's just kind of churning and just meandering to the east. So there's a look at the rain. There's that low pressure system. It rained a little bit for the Razorback game as expected, and then it kind of moved out, and then we brought additional wave of energy, and then there's the low lifting eastward, and then finally moving out. And see, the clouds are sticking around because you look off to the west, the clouds are still there. So we've got some fog potential in low-lying areas, but not really everywhere. 1.7 in Harrison is the fog. And so there'll be some breaks in the clouds and some clearing and stuff like that. There's a look at the fog forecast tonight. It kind of picks up and then it dissipates. So let's look at the future track, and then I'll show you the 7-day, and then we'll move on. Hey, Tom Barnes, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the shout out. On a cold October night, you could hear the Chicago Bears cry. That's hilarious. We've heard that before. Did the Bears lose tonight? I don't know. Hey, Pittsburgh is looks like they scored. They're going to do a 2-point attempt, and then they bring it within one score. So it's not over yet. Oh man, how can you? Yeah, they caught that. So there's a look at Monday. Nothing really happened on Monday. Then we got some rain that picks up on Tuesday. So Tuesday, some pretty widespread rain chances. That's why I need to up those rain chances. It's a pretty big low. Nothing severe, though. Oh, come on. Pass interference again. And let's give you the 7-day forecast in case you want to know. Bears lost. Maston, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. All right. So here's the 7-day. Now remember, I got to adjust these numbers, and I'll do that after this live stream. Rain chances need to be a lot higher for Tuesday instead of 40%. 40% looks a little bit too low. Wednesday, maybe some showers in the morning. Not sold on that AM, PM because I think the low moves east and we'll have subsidence on the backside of it. Here's a look at the rest of the forecast. Temperatures will be still pretty cool. Well, we got to put Halloween on the 7-day too. That's on Friday. We got to throw up some pumpkins on there. I got to do some adjusting to this. And we got to put it on November 1st too on Saturday. So I'll have to check out that 20%. They did. They got the 2-point. No. Did they get it? I don't know if they got the 2-point conversion. No, he didn't. Did he have control? I don't think he had control of it. I know. I need to put something on there for Friday. Here's a look at the River Valley. More rain on the way for Friday. I mean for Tuesday. Halloween doesn't look bad though. 63, and then once that sun goes down because of the drier air. That's another thing too. Thank you so much. You got daylight saving time that ends. Yeah. I better get to work here. Make that 7-day worth it. So yeah. Anyways, super excited about this. We'll show this on the news. Got the win. Thanks to Peyton, Josh, and Zach for being there. That was awesome. Casey, Doug. Yeah, that's the thing to add to that 7-day. I know. Absolutely. We got a lot of stuff to do, but okay, guys, thanks for watching. We're going to shut it down here on this live stream, but just to recap, rain on Tuesday. Melissa's going to be deadly, most likely, unfortunately, catastrophic for Jamaica. Absolute issues for the country. Probably country changing, kind of like Maria was with Puerto Rico back in 2017. So we're talking some pretty rough stuff. Really, really bad. Okay, guys, God bless. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Josh, drive safe. I know you're probably just southwest of St. Louis by now. He's not working tomorrow. Blaze is in, but I got to adjust the 7-day, make some tweaks to the forecast, and we'll have the latest after Sunday night football. So take care. Have a good one. And again, we're continuing to update the stream, get everything better, and we've got to run. See you, man. Bye-bye. Well, maybe, maybe not. I don't know where thanks for watching went. It's gone. Okay. Well, we'll just end it. How about that? Take care, guys. Bye.